Championship clubs are rejecting 30, 40 million pound bids for players. Could you say that in the second division of Italy, in Spain, in France, etc.? So I can't blame them. Asking price for Balogun is too high. Raya is slightly better than what we have, but not 40 million pound better, especially when we can spend that money on a striker that we need. I'm starting to believe, having thought on this, that I think Raya's an opportunity on the market that I don't think Arsenal want to turn down. We've clearly tried to sign him before. He's got a year left on his deal. He could be a free agent next summer. You know, he's someone that could potentially challenge Ramsdale better than Matt Turner. But I think Matt Turner sat there and said, you know what? I'm 29. I'm always playing for America. Probably when I go back to my country and I play, the media say I need to play on a more regular basis. I personally think he said, you know what? I want to leave. And maybe that's why we're looking at Raya. We've actually been linked with Brighton's Sanchez as well. Good morning to my members. I don't know about fellow inmates, but yeah, as the market goes on, not just players in relation to Arsenal selling or buying, clubs have to stop playing this game of poker. Like it's a bit like Declan Rice. Thank God that we got that one early. And obviously, the longer you leave it, the more you open up other clubs. But the longer you leave it, it's a game of stick or twist. Because if we're in the last week of the window, West Ham at this moment in time haven't brought in a player. They're going to lose Declan Rice for free next summer, so they'd have to sell him, really. So naturally, as the market progresses, clubs are going to stop playing hardball. You know, you can see there, Harry Kane and, well, Daniel Levy's a bit of an exception, but maybe Harry Kane and even Bayern Munich, really. Ever since the Neymar deal, transfer market has been a madness. Neymar, Mbappe, Vinicius, you know, quality players, but personally, I feel Cristiano Ronaldo was the last sort of, because I don't know why I always remember Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Real Madrid. I think it was 80 million, and people were saying that was expensive. And then in the years that followed, it looked cheaper. If anything, and there probably is exceptions, I think he's the one player that you could say at that moment in time that the deal was made, he's worth it. Now it's all about potential. Now, Mbappe's been a great player for Paris Saint-Germain. Clearly, Real Madrid, where Vinicius is concerned, etc. But it's very rarely paying a fee for what the player does at that moment in time. It's all the potential. We spent 50 million on Benjamin White off the back of one Premier League season, which he's doing great, but it's off the back of potential, etc., really. So who knows, man? Even all the way back to the Zidane deal, Madrid paid 50 million. Having another 30 goalkeeper could improve Ramsdale to be a better keeper to keep his place. Then we can make profits on selling Ramsdale if needed. It's true, but at some point, if Raya comes and he's the best thing since sliced bread and Ramsdale gets better and better and they challenge each other and all of that is great. But at some point, one of them is going to have to be the number one, or Arteta's going to have to make it clear one of you is the number two, and that's it. If you want to keep it moving, because I'm not really on this everyone get a game thing. I think a big reason as to why Arsenal's season kind of went left is when we needed to rotate, when we needed players to step into due to the absence of certain others, smash the like button. Clearly, we caught L's. It weren't good enough. But on the flip side of that, I also believe a big reason as to why we had the season we had and we look better is because we're playing the same players. We're allowing relationships to build. I don't think we defend of the standard that is a Premier League title winner, really. But I think there's been improvements. And for all their individual and collective mistakes, Gabriel and Saliba, great partnership. You know, Saliba on the right-hand side with Benjamin White, likewise on the left-hand side. That's a back four. Behind them is obviously Ramsdale. You need that. You can't just be doing mix and match. I think Kyrill's going to be decent for us. But I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, 1 minute Kyrill left-sided, left back, you know, whoever at centre-back and then right back, and then we keep switching it. That's not how life works. There's going to be games where you're going to need to be cute and clever. We bought Ramsdale to be good on his feet and a good distributor. Turns out he's average at best at that. Had a much better season distributing when he arrived, but last season he was bang average at best. I think that's very harsh, but fair enough. Milan, Inter, Juventus are all involved in massive scandals. League is devalued by that. TV deals aren't worth as much when they're renewed, less revenue, overall. And that's true. And obviously there's stars. And I think when you look at Italy, Milan won the Scudetto 1 year, Napoli won it the next year, Inter Milan have won it, but they're not the poster boy. Probably I'm born in the 90s. I'm 28. Those older than me remember when the Italy league was the envy of the world. They've had their time. You know, La Liga is always going to be great. But there was a time where, but purely because of, for me anyways, Lionel Messi and shout Ronaldo, it didn't matter if you supported Arsenal, whatever team in the Premier League or whatever team in this world, the most important fixture, apart from the North London derby for me, was El Clasico. Now, if you miss out on El Clasico, you watch the highlights, you don't care. So there's less demand, there's less poster boys and whatnot. That's why that league needs Mbappe. That league probably needs Real Madrid to get some Barca to get some more competitive players. Do we have enough squad depth and quality going into the new season? Yeah, I believe. I mean, a right winger wouldn't go amiss. If you could get in another striker with different strengths to what we have, I'd be on that. I still think we're a centre mid short personally for all of what Smith Rowe could do in that role, whatever Arteta wants to do in Havertz. I think we're missing another midfielder. I think we're fairly stocked defensively, you know, assuming people stay fit, which is dangerous because Zinchenko ain't even fit at this moment in time. But you've got, you know, you've technically got Zinchenko, Kirill, Tomiyasu, and Tini at this moment in time who can all fight for left back. Right back, you've got Benjamin White and Timber. Centre half, you've obviously got the big boys in Gabriel and Saliba. But as I said, Kirill is growing. Tomiyasu can play across the back three. Timber can move over there. Such is the squad depth. I'm probably missing out a player as well, people. So yeah, I think we're starting to get well stocked in that regards, man. I can't really complain if I'm honest with you. So yeah, the Ramsdale disrespect is too much. He's a top goalie and one of the reasons the team's improved. Amen. It's a win-win for Arsenal. Either Raya improves Ramsdale or Raya becomes our number one. Either way, we get a better keeper. And I think it shows Arteta's got that harshness to him, really. You know, Xhaka was his guy. There was an opportunity to evolve the system. Tomiyasu and Tini was your guys. There was an opportunity to evolve the system. And I've previously said, as much as I like Gabriel, I did feel at one point, Ramsdale and Gabriel, there were the two roles Arteta might say. If we could get even better, he might do it. And obviously, Kyrill's coming left-sided centre-back. Ramsdale's got pressure. Timber's got pressure. Well, Benjamin White's got pressure with Timber. So, yeah, ultimately, no one's guaranteed first team football. If you want to play, and we need a squad, really. We need depth. If we want to compete for all trophies or at least bring something home, which for me, you know, the big is in the champs, that would be the dream. Whether we're able to do that's another thing. Whether we're able to go one better in the domestic campaigns, another thing. Where the FA Cup's concerned, every year I say it, that's Arsenal's trophy. Between us and United, ain't we won it the most record times? United got to the final, embarrassed themselves, or in fact, some United fans won't be upset because they're twerking for City all season. But we need to go and claw that. Obviously, the League Cup only matters if you win, but for a young squad trying to get that winning mentality, let's grab that if we can, really. Just bring some. I would love to have a trophy, man. The fans deserve a day out at Wembley, which hopefully on Sunday is a positive one. It's Kyrill's skills games, Ballon d'Or shout. What's your team against Monaco? It's difficult because you want to keep getting fitness in the legs, but then you have to keep one eye open for Sunday. Obviously, Zinchenko probably is not going to play a part. Nelson's injured at the moment. You know, didn't Declan Rice miss one of the games because he picked up a slight knock? It all depends on the fitness, but I kind of want it as a dress rehearsal. If I'm honest with you, if everybody was fit, excluding the ones that there's concerns, Ramsdale in goal, you know what? It should be White initially, you know, but I'd say, do you know what? For me anyways, Ramsdale, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba. If Zinchenko is proper fit, Zinchenko. If not, you know, we've got to probably put Tini over there. I'd probably play Tini against City. I do like Kirill developing in that role. But between Tini and Tomiyasu, one of them, I just think with Tini, with Timber, from what we've seen in pre-season, that can give us a defensive balance and it doesn't really take away from us going forward. Midfield, I'm not really for the Havertz, Odegaard and Rice thing just yet. I would lean towards Rice, Partey and Martin Odegaard. On the right, Bukayo Saka. Big up Trossard because you've been one of our players of pre-season, but I'm leaning towards Martinelli. And respectfully to Balogun who's carrying a knock as well. Eddie and Ketty, a shout out you, but there's no contest in it. It's Gabby Jesus. That's assuming everybody's fit. Let's get 2 trophies by the end of the week. Emirates Cup and Community Shield shameless settings. DG, what of these right wingers we had in the Emirates era, who's a better player, Walcott or Saka? Saka's way better than Walcott, but there are some things, as mad as it sounds, there's certain things that Walcott does that I would love to add to Saka's game. Like, I do think, I don't want to say his movement's better than Saka's, but I think at this moment in time it is really. And I do remember Walcott's lovely dribbling runs when he did them on occasion. If I could add, not that Saka don't do that, but if I could add them 2 things to Saka's arsenal, it'd be lit, man. Have you seen the Dembele news? PSG secretly agreed to deal with Dembele behind Barca's back. This is the same thing they cried Real Madrid did with Mbappe. No honor among thieves, because Barca can cry about that. They're only vexed because that's happened to them. And I want my trophy back from 06, but they've probably did that to others, man. What happened to Kudus? Again, it's the calm before the storm, really and truly. Who knows? It does seem like Chelsea, because they've registered their interest in the man, are ahead of us, and it does seem like we're focusing on outgoings, but you never know. You know, this Raya thing took everyone by surprise. You never know what the clubs are actually doing in the market. You never know how much they actually have to spend, etc., 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 etc. This has been on the screen forever, so we might as well look at it. David Raya set to be back up for Aaron Ramsdale if he joins Arsenal, with Brentford valuing goalkeeper at 40 million. If they get 40 million, great business, but as we just kind of discussed about teams kind of sticking to their guns and things like that, the man's rejected 2 contract offers. The manager's spoken about how he wants to go. He's got, you know, a matter of months on his deal. You know, from next, you know, Bayern Munich have been interested in him. From January next year, he can agree a move for free. I know they signed him for 3 million, so it's not that deep, but they're letting money walk out the door. So I do kind of think the price tag of 40 million won't quite be that, whether it be 25, 30-ish, kind of maybe, really. Do you sign the keeper to be backup number two? Fair enough. He's a man we tried to sign. He's a man that a goalkeeping coach at Arsenal's got nothing but admiration for. You know, he's Spanish like the gaffer and a lot of things. For me, he's closer in style to what Arteta wants of a goalkeeper. And obviously, you know, it's neck and neck between him and Ramsdale, who is the better keeper. So any messing about with Ramsdale, you know, a bit like, as I'm not trying to catch anyone else out, but if Xhaka last year had a bad game, if Saka has a bad game, if Odegaard has a bad game, if Jesus has a bad game, if Benjamin White and Ramsdale and even Saliba and Gabriel, if they have a bad game, not that you know, you should just drop someone because they've had a bad game or made a mistake, but there's not really that much pressure. If you've got a seasoned veteran, someone that like Ramsdale is in the international setup with Spain, someone that's been playing in the Prem, it keeps you on your toes. And like Matt said, big up the members, it keeps you better. I don't think, you know, but I do think if he is to sign, I do think Arteta's got to be honest and say, you know what, may the best man win sort of thing. I need two goalies. Raya's not an idiot, you know, and we need to remember it's premature. The man hasn't signed for Arsenal. He's not an idiot. He knows Ramsdale signed a new deal. He knows Ramsdale's a linchpin. You need to come and take his spot. But at the same time, Arteta might have said, you know what, it's a number two thing. If he's happy to stay in London, happy to compete, happy to get opportunities when he can and push, fair enough. But apparently we want to sign the £40 million rated Brentford goalkeeper David Raya as backup for Ramsdale. Allegedly, the Gunners are front runners after Bayern Munich had an offer rejected of a loan deal with an option to sign him. It's understood the Spaniard would not replace Ramsdale as number one, but would be used in cup competitions and provide greater competition for the England international. Arteta is believed to have doubts over his number two goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who has been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest. However, Brentford value Raya, who turns 28 next month, at 40 million, whereas Arsenal want a fee closer to 30 million. So that's about fair. It's a bit like Lavia with Southampton. It's like they're saying 50 million. Liverpool have had a couple of bids. It seems like it will get done for around 40 odd, really. Cup competitions. Champions League, I don't know. May the best man win. FA Cup, League Cup, do your thing, really. Whoever is the number two. Thomas Frank reiterated his keeper's value and said, I would love to get 40 million. He's one of the best four keepers in the Prem last season, which statistically, you can't disagree with what the man said. Kane is being spoken of as 100+ million. So for a keeper at his age, it's fair. It's true. I don't think that the two are correlated, but based on what he said there, you can't disagree. And they haven't put his extended comments, but he also made reference to Declan Rice, in which maybe Arsenal have shown, you know what, we're big spenders. Arsenal have held an interest in Raya since before they signed Ramsdale from Sheffield United in 2021. As we know, he's very good in terms of distribution, shot stopping, all of that sort of stuff. He has 2 caps by Spain, and he played every game in the league for Brentford last season. And all you got to do is probably on YouTube, go and watch his performance, you know, against us at the Emirates. Really had a good game. Allegedly, Arsenal duo still facing transfer uncertainty ahead of potential mass clear out. Partey and Smith Rowe are still both facing uncertain futures ahead of what could end up being a mass clear out in the next period of the summer. Every day the things change, innit? I mean, Arteta's made clear he wants to keep Partey and made clear he wants to keep Smith Rowe. Things can change in life, especially in the market. Things can fluctuate. Anything can happen. But apparently sources with a close understanding of Arsenal's current plans have informed Court Offside that Partey could still leave for the right price, despite more recent speculation suggesting he's now set to stay at the Emirates. At the moment, however, it remains the case that the Gunners are yet to receive any offers for the Ghana international, and it's unclear if suitors will be willing to meet the North Londoners' demand. So if there's been no, smash the like button if you're on YouTube. One Love Twitch can keep your opinions. For all the talk, there's no offers, so there's no conversation to have. Anything could change, but there's no offers. There's nothing for us to bid or reject. So it's a myth. Fan favourite Smith Rowe's in a similar situation, with Arsenal open to letting him go if anyone comes in with the right kind of money, though that is yet to materialise. Elsewhere in midfield, Lokonga could join Burnley, hopefully, with talks well underway for him to link up with company. Arsenal are also expected to offload defensive players this summer, with Rob Holding a likely candidate for the exit door. Amen. As he attracts interest from newly promoted Luton Town. That's the right thing for you. Portuguese duo Cedric Soares and Nuno Tavares are also likely to leave, and both have interest from clubs in the Premier League. But are we going to get them gone permanently? Because it seems unclear if we're going to get 5 million for Austin Trusty or if he's going to go on loan. The same says for Lokonga and Tavares. Cedric, the better you Pepe need to bust out. Balogun, everything's on the cards, really. And even with Inter Milan, apparently they're moving closer to getting Scamacca from West Ham. Is that correlated to them moving away from Balogun? I guess we'll see, people. Arsenal's attack also looks a little congested at the moment. Balogun's attracting particular attention. Apparently Balogun is not in Arteta's plans, and I wouldn't say he is or isn't, but when Arteta was asked, you know, I do think Arteta is a bit like Wenger and Pep. When a player is key part of his plans, or if they're not necessarily a key part of his plans, but they have a future, he's crystal clear. You've seen that when Martinelli wasn't playing. You saw that when Smith Rowe went on loan. When there's an air of doubt, in which, when referred to Balogun, we covered it. He said he's not training at the moment. He has to train and then we'll see. That tells me everything I need to know. I think it's a myth. When he speaks about Nketiah, he says, I like him, boom, 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 this, that, and the other. We'll have to see with Balogun, but he's got a whole host of suitors. Whether suitors correlate to actually placing bids, as you lot know, is a completely different entity. It seems like Inter Milan are the only ones somewhat close to putting their money where their mouth is. Inter still looks the most likely destination for Balogun. People, apparently the Serie A giants are understood to have not dropped their interest in him completely, even if they have also been in touch with West Ham about signing Gianluca Scamacca as a cheaper alternative. Pepe and Marquinhos, again, Pepe on ability, and if Marquinhos looked like a player, we might be looking at right wing options a lot differently. Rightly so, they're not in Arteta's plans. We've been over this with Pepe. Marquinhos is not ready, and I don't know if he'll ever be, but apparently they've got suitors in both the Premier League and the Championship. Everyone's interested in everyone who is putting down bids, and obviously we're exploring a deal to bring in Raya, but any talk of signing him has to be described as premature. Inter Milan bid for West Ham striker after getting priced out of Arsenal star Balogun. Allegedly, they've been priced out, people. Apparently, Inter made Balogun a priority after deciding against signing Lukaku. However, they were hoping to pay £35 million for his services. That hasn't happened, people. And apparently, Scamacca is available from West Ham for 17 million quid. So we'll have to see how this develops, people. But it seems like Balogun's future is nowhere near being decided just of yet. We've also been linked with Robert Sanchez of Brighton, which, again, stylistically is probably close to what Arteta demands. Also a Spanish keeper and is very similar to Raya. So maybe that's come off the back of, obviously, this interest in Raya. Again, that didn't take us to a link about Sanchez, who's also been linked with Spurs and Chelsea. And again, no clue if he wants to be, number 2 or whatever. Apparently, we deemed the 40 million they want for Raya as excessive. And as a result, we've made contact with Brighton to ask about Sanchez. Hopefully we ain't burnt bridges at Brighton due to the Caicedo nonsense. Young, talented forward Nathan Butler-Odeje has been told he can complete a loan move away from the club. Allegedly, the 20-year-old has interest from a number of clubs at home and abroad. I really do like him. He went on loan to Accrington Stanley last year. Once you've been exposed to first team football, there's no point playing under 21s. That's probably why you've seen young Zach leave. Patino's going to go. Brooke Norton-Coffey will probably leave on loan. There'll probably be a lot of it, in my opinion, departures at under 21s level, excluding the ones that haven't happened already, people. So we'll have to monitor that one closely. What's this? Arsenal trying aggressively to hijack Lazio transfer after Serie A side agree fee for a midfielder. Allegedly, we're hoping to hijack a deal for Eintracht Frankfurt midfielder Djibril Sow after Lazio have agreed a deal. I don't know, but for what it's worth, the 28-year-old has played for the Bundesliga side 121 times in the league and has 7 goals. He's also got 38 caps for Switzerland, and he's also drawing interest from Sevilla as well as Lazio and us. Not sure on anything that links us with signings in Italy, people, but that's where you have it. We'll have to see how that one develops. This has just reiterated the same thing. Apparently, he could be available for 15 million euros plus bonuses, so it could be a cut price squad addition. He's a decent player. Don't know him religiously, but we've obviously watched him a lot playing for Frankfurt and obviously Switzerland. But I wouldn't say that's someone I thought, well, yeah, you're the guy. Oh, that article that you just saw me click off by mistake just said that we're in for Lokonga, as we've seen already. In fact, there you have it. We're back again. Burnley are leading the race to sign Lokonga, people. And we've heard this all the time. 1 minute it's loan, then it's loan with an option to buy, then it's possible permanently. Arsenal are open to loaning out Lokonga again, but there's a possibility that he could depart permanently. You can't get him gone permanently and you can get him and Turner on loan, then fair enough. We pick up a loan fee. You put yourself in the shop window either for Mikel Arteta to utilize you for the following season or to be sold. A bit like Balogun, what Balogun did at Reims. He's had a great year. It is what it is. A bit like Austin Trusty at Birmingham, and Tavares had a mixed campaign at Marseille, but admittedly, I did think he'd have offers, really, for whatever you say about Tavares. Lokonga hardly pulled up any trees at Crystal Palace, nor did he in any opportunity he got for Arsenal. It's time to keep it moving. For what it's worth, once again, I do think there's a player there in him, but it's meaty. Big up Tom Smith, our former keeper. It's nice to see, able to find a club. Colchester have signed our former goalkeeper on a 2-year contract. The 21-year-old left over the summer, people, as it's clear he's not going to make it. Arsenal in talks over Premier League moves for Sambi Lokonga and Trusty. First time I've seen a Premier League club linked with Austin Trusty, people. Apparently Sheffield United are pursuing Trusty. Again, for every report that says he's going permanent, there's rumours of a loan, people. fair enough. Not Balogun, Lokonga's out of contention, as we know. Trusty, 24 years of age, one player of the season at Birmingham, made 48 appearances. He's done well. He's also got interest from Ipswich and Swansea. And there was rumours Rangers and Celtic were looking at him, but he's still at the Emirates. Once again, Lokonga's busting out again. I don't really want to waste time on Lokonga. He needs to keep it moving, essentially. Nottingham Forest are still trying to convince Arsenal to sell Matt Turner, but it remains unclear whether he's going to join them permanently or on loan. And this article has said there's still a distance between what Arsenal value Turner and what Forest would be willing to pay. We know you need a goalie because we don't know what's happening with Dean Henderson. And while Matt Turner is our number 2 and has hardly played for Arsenal, he's an American international. It's a small price to pay, and he's still only 29. So could be your keeper for a couple of years, really. Once again, Arsenal's interest in Brentford's goalie is nothing new. I think we covered this yesterday, people. So we'll go over that. We've talked about Sanchez. Sanchez is wanted by Arsenal and Chelsea, allegedly, people. But it seems like he'll be going Chelsea. Liverpool look like they're going to beat us to the signing of Lavia. Not that you've seen any aggressive links in the last couple of days of us moving for Lavia. It seems like we're gone. But for what it's worth, Liverpool are aiming to sign Lavia before Arsenal could change their minds. That's according to Ben Jacobs. That's where Liverpool are conscious to move fast to make sure Arsenal don't enter the race for Lavia because they could offer Champions League football, and also to make sure Chelsea don't enter the race for Lavia. So we'll have to see, really. Arsenal began personal talks with David Raya's camp over personal terms, people. But Brentford, apologies, I'm butchering this, are still holding firm over this. There's got to be a degree of a willingness to get this done, man. I don't think personal terms will be an issue. But again, you need to agree a fee with his employers. So we'll have to monitor this slowly. Once again, this article said Mikel Arteta has doubts about Matt Turner. Respectfully, you think he must have doubts.